Check 1 2 1 2. What's up, everybody? DJ Divine Justice here, aka DJ Bitchin'. Want to talk about the DJM S9 versus the new DJM S11. Somebody asked me why I said that the S9 was a 4-deck mixer, and basically the answer would be because you can technically hit 4 decks up there and have access to 4 decks, but unlike the S11, you can't do like a swap where 2 of them would play on the same track, and also you'd have the option to control them on the same track. But where I think they got the idea from is, let's say you have a loop like this one playing, and you're mixing in another track over here. So we're mixing that, we don't need to hear it. If you take... That's not very nice. That's not... So if you take the track that's playing and looping, not this track that's controlled by vinyl, so I'll stop that. And if you go to your sampler deck, what we used to do, even think back in the Scratch Live days, was just drag the loop to the sampler deck. And you can hear it phasing because they're both playing exactly the same. So now I can take out, and see now even because they're not synced, you can hear that them being off. So what you can do is go and technically press sync, and you wouldn't have to do that because after the first one you would have already been out of it. But just so you know, you can sync it. But the whole point is that you would have used this as a form of deck swap, so that now you can kill that track and then do whatever you want with that side. But the idea of a 4th deck with scratch banks is that you can switch from 1 to 3 right here. And now my vinyl control is controlling the outside that has my scratch sounds. And I can access them like... And if I want to go back to that track that's on that side, then I go back to track 1. Get ready to mix that in. Echo it out. Go back to my scratch. And technically I was able to do that not using that side because we're not hearing that. We're hearing that track being pulled into the sampler and it playing seamlessly so that you wouldn't notice. So this is the original deck swap, using the sampler deck as a 3rd deck. Not to mention that if you get into using Link, then these all become loops that will all link together. Why don't we see if we can do that now? 1 2 3 4. That's not bad. Let's try to bring this next one in. Let's be fancy with it. So the one in between those two. They're still keeping in time. 2 3 4. And it stops. So that's how this works. Is it toggles them on and off. Just like you with kind of like a form of Ableton that you can kind of do. It unmutes them, but they'll always be 1 2 3 4. So technically you can use the sampler with 8 different loops, and then you have 4 banks of 8 loops. Meanwhile, you can have your regular track with your music song, and then you can have your 3rd track with your scratch sounds. So you could say that it's a 4-channel mixer. You could say it's a 2-channel mixer, but definitely you do have the ability to do that kind of scratch bank thing. You can just use 3 and 4 that way. So DJ Divine Justice, Another episode of DJM S9 versus S11 coming soon. Till then, peace and love. Practice and enjoy. Zip zap, zippity doo dah.